And I'm making this video specifically to try to dissuade anyone from buying that bike and anyone from putting upgrades onto that bike. I saw on Facebook this week, there was a guy, he has an Ozark Trail Ridge Slalom. He's like, I want to deck this out. Where should I get a good shock and fork for this bike? And I just was like, why? Why are you putting a nice shock and fork on a piece of crap frame? Because that frame is a piece of crap. And I think Walmart is doing themselves a disservice by slapping the Ozark Trail Ridge, the Ozark Trail logo on that piece of crap frame. All right, people look at this Ozark Trail Ridge Pro. It's aluminum. It's very nicely welded. I can tell it's not made, whatever factory that Slalom is made in, it's not made in this factory. And there's YouTubers that when the Slalom came out, they're like, it's boost spacing. It's a modern mountain bike. Look at the geometry numbers. It's like, I don't care about the geometry numbers. I don't care about the boost spacing. I look at the welds. It looks like junk. I look at the bearings. They're tiny. They look like junk. The whole bike looks like trash. All right. And I'm sure it rides like trash. People like, well, I go off big jumps. I need a full suspension bike. You don't need a full suspension bike. Okay, I rode this hardtail up to the top of a mountain peak. It did just fine. It goes a tiny bit slower on the downhill. But you know what? If I was to ride the slalom up to Ben Lomond, I'd probably get seriously hurt on that because it's not a real mountain bike. All right, it's heavy as bricks. Okay, weight matters. Maybe you don't need a 20-pound bike or a 25-pound bike, but I've ridden a lot of bikes, and for me, the breaking point is around 33 pounds. If a bike weighs more than 33 pounds, even if it's a full suspension, I would much rather go on a ride on the bike that weighs less than 33 pounds. And those Ozark Trail Pro full suspension bikes, they weigh 40 pounds. They're bricks. You're not going to go faster. Whatever tiny increments of speed you can get from the full suspension going downhill, it's completely lost on how much heavier that ton of bricks is going uphill. I love making these videos pointing people toward budget bikes to get people into cycling, all right? And when the Ozark Trail Ridge Pro came out, I made videos about it. It's a great bike, great price, $598. When this limited edition version came out, I thought this was even a greater bike, a little bit more. This was like $980 or something. It's got an air fork with aluminum uppers, okay? It's got a Dior drivetrain. There's bikes that are over $5,000 that have the exact same shifters and drivetrains as this bike that's under $1,000. This is literally a proper mountain bike that you can go ride anything you want to ride, okay? And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. People see this Ozark Trail Ridge Pro and like, well, I'm going to get the fast flow. That fast flow, it's not fast. It's slower than this. It's got an air fork, yes, but it's a steel air fork, so it weighs a ton of bricks. You're going to be huffing and puffing going up any climb whatsoever on that fast flow. You've got to take off all the parts and put like this type level of parts on it to make it even ride good. But the other issue I have with entry-level, cheap full suspensions is full suspensions. They're better, yes, but they wear out more. The bearings wear out. You need to when I buy a full suspension bike, I make sure I buy it from a company that I know is going to support that full suspension bike for the next 5 to 10 years. Because as I ride it, and if I sell it to someone else as they ride it, I want to be able to order the parts to get it fixed. There's no Ozark Trail website where you can order new slalom linkages, where you can order new bearings for your Ozark Trail fast flow. All right? They don't have that type of support. It's like, I don't know. So if this wears out in 5 to 10 years, the frame is the frame. All right, the frame either breaks or it doesn't. There's no parts. There's no wear and tear parts on a hardtail frame. I don't have to worry about if Ozark Trail is going to discontinue this bike in a year. I'm going to be able to get the parts for it. When you spend $1,000, you're spending a lot of money, and you don't know if you're going to be able to keep the thing up and going for the next 5 to 10 years. It's not worth it. But first off, in my personal opinion, riding style opinion, it's not worth buying a cheap full suspension because it makes you go slower uphill. Maybe if you're only doing park runs, the fast flow might make sense over the ridge here. But on top of that, you don't know if you're going to be able to get parts for this thing in 5 years. If you order a bike from Ibis, Giant, Specialized, all the big players, you'll be able to get the parts for the bike because the full suspension bike is like a wear and tear item. It's like a shock or a drivetrain. The moving parts on that full suspension, a hardtail should last almost forever. Full suspensions don't last forever. Go look at the 90s Kleins. Look at the 90s Klein full suspensions. It's pretty hard to keep those up and running. The 90s Klein hardtails, you can go buy one. I could fix it up in this truck and we could keep it going 30, 40 years later. But the full suspension, it's a cushier ride, but you're losing a little bit of the reliability. And that makes sense if you're buying a nice full suspension. That's the weight of a hardtail. That climbs just as fast as a hardtail, but descends so much smoother. When you're buying a cheap full suspension, you're not getting those advantages. So this video today, I'm just trying to convince everybody, don't buy cheap full suspension bikes. Buy cheap hardtails, okay? And definitely, if you buy a cheap full suspension and you don't like it because it's heavy, don't throw $500 shocks on a $500 bike. That's just a waste of money. You could throw parts, you could put a carbon wheel set on this Ozark Trail Ridge Pro. I don't think that would be a waste of money because if you want to upgrade to a carbon frame down the road, you can take those carbon wheels and put them on something else. When you start upgrading suspension on a full suspension, the odds that those shocks are going to work on the next bike you buy is very low. You're just throwing money in. It's like, you know, like people, they buy a new car and then for whatever reason, they think they need a better sound system in the car and they dump $1,000 into the sound system on their brand new car, and then they never even bought the car. They're still on a payment plan for it for 5 years. And then when they go to sell their car, they like try to tell me it has an upgraded sound system. And the only thing I hear is like, someone messed with the electrical system. I don't want an upgraded sound system. I want a car from a baby boomer that was scared to speed, was scared to upgrade the sound system. The sound system becomes a liability. You're not increasing the value of your bicycle at all by upgrading it. Really. When I see a bike that's been upgraded, that tells me, oh, that bike got a lot of miles. Upgrades on bikes they don't help the resale value of your bicycle. They really don't. If you have a sucker, oh, it's got an upgraded fork. I'm like, upgraded fork? What happened to the old fork? You break it? I don't want to buy that. I want to buy the bike with the stock fork. Even if it was a little less quality, then at least I know it wasn't ridden much. Because it's all about, I have a used bike buyer's guide video. It's all about how many miles your used bike was ridden is how much it should be worth. It's just like a car engine, but there's no odometers on bicycles. So you gotta have to go by guessing. And the easiest way to go by guessing on buying a bike is if people upgraded the parts. Then that's pretty good sign it got a ton of abuse. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. What are your thoughts? Do you ride a cheap under $1,500 full suspension? Do you like it? Do you think I'm just a stuck-up, snooty loser? I don't know. Talk to you later.